wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly bo. Yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. We keep moving. We keep grooving. Subscribers still steadily picking up. We're trying to get to 6,000 before the start of the season. We're on 5,100 and summit. To keep them subscribers moving. Appreciate every which one of you, as you well know. Didn't drop in over the weekend as I had my mate Trey in the studio yesterday. We were cracking on with some music and had a chin wag about pretty much everything. Put world to rights, so we did. And then I think Saturday, I don't know if I did a video or not. However, that's not why we're here. Clout Chasers in. Clout Chasers on. Clout Chasers over here. Clock Watchers will be watching. Big style. Quick ship vid. Longstaff's back in town. I'm going to bang on about Longstaff until he joins. I can't wait for this. Everton and Leeds, obviously, in the rumblings again. I really am in on Longstaff. I don't need to say much more about him other than that if he signs and he doesn't do well, I think it's delete the channel with the receipts, that type of vibe, isn't it? Because I will get absolute pelters. Jason McAtee is doing the rounds again. That's all going around again. I can't imagine this one happening at all, to be honest. I've never thought this was likely. I think he'll have plenty of suitors, be suited and booted in many different places. Many different teams will want him. He's obviously been decent. He's featured a little bit for City. All the Manchester City, I don't like calling him City. All these sort of articles have sort of suggested that he struggled for game time, but isn't that just the case that every single Man City player sort of struggles for game time? I agree they probably don't want him, but I do think there'll be more stable clubs, sort of more stable Premier League clubs, or even potentially abroad. He'll probably want to stay in England, but there'll be more stable clubs that take a chance on him, really, other than a newly promoted side, even though I would obviously think it'd be a good signing for him and his career. But, you know, if you come to Leeds and we make some decent signings and he doesn't get in our side, you know, his career can collapse pretty quickly, doesn't it? I mean, I think he would get in our side, to be fair. Looks like a decent player. But yeah, to suggest he's been neglected at Manchester City is perhaps a little bit of a, you know, that's maybe Man City fans saying that, or, you know, the Man City board making sure that that's the script that's run out on so that the value of him goes up, you know, saying like, you know, he's good enough to be in, but Guardiola don't quite fancy it type of thing, as opposed to just being like, he's actually not good enough to get in the Manchester City side, which is much more likely, you know, when you've got, I know De Bruyne is moving on now and he's not been quite at the powers that he's been the past few years, but, you know, some amazing players at the club, isn't there? Shea Charles, 21 years old, defensive midfielder, can play centre-back a little bit. He was at Southampton in the Championship a couple of years ago, and he's been playing on loan this season for Sheffield Wednesday. You might remember him. He's played 43 games. Might be a decent youngster prospect backup, really. He's only really proven in Championship. A lot of managers have heaped tons of praise on him, like Guardiola said he was convinced to be a top player, and Danny Role and stuff. They've all sort of said there's been loads of people talking about him. He did get Sheffield United. He didn't get Sheffield United's player of the season. That'd be wild. That would be one hell of a performance if he's managed to get 2 awards for 2 different teams in one season. And for a team that he's not even played for, that's how good this fella is. But he got Sheffield Wednesday's player of the season award, player of the year award. 1 goal, 5 assists, but obviously he sort of sits more naturally, so it's not necessarily, and they weren't the best side in the world, were they? So I don't think they were flying forward by any means. He was at Man City. He's a real youngster, which he still is only a youngster, you know, 21 years old. He's valued at 10 million pounds, I think, or 10 million euros. I think it's 10 million pounds on transfer market. So again, you know, that'd be an interesting place, bolster the squad, wouldn't it? You know, when we've got Ampadu in there, Tanaka, you know, he'd be sort of coming in as more the 6, you would imagine. There's been loads and loads of talks about bids being put in today. I'm sure everybody's already heard about it all, but this Habib Diarra, Senegalese, so he is. He's only 21 years old. He plays for Strasbourg. There's been some rumours saying that a bid has been made. Talks of up to 26 million euros, which is big dough for a 21-year-old, isn't it? But we don't play no games. But apparently there's been some talks that we are worlds apart in terms of valuations. And I've said all season up into the build-up to this that the 49ers will not be bullied in the transfer market, and that's why we love them, isn't it? You know, they're not going to get pushed around. They're not going to overpay for players. I just don't. I think once you set your stall out that you don't overpay for players, when you enter the negotiation table, when you sit across from someone, an agent or whatever, and they've dealt with you quite a bit, they just know that they're not going to get the pants pulled down. Man United get the pants pulled down all the time, don't they? You know, when the clubs run properly, you just go, all right, that's it. The bid, you know, the player's decent, but he's not worth that. We're moving on, and they've hopefully got a bit of a contingency plan. He was the El Capitano last year, though, for Strasbourg, to be fair, playing at centre mid. It looks as though he can play a little bit further forward, but I'm not sure he's an out-and-out 10. But obviously, my knowledge of Habib Diarra is limited. It's just from what I'm reading and seeing. 30 odd appearances for him, 4 goals, 5 assists. They finished 7th, so a decent enough season for him. Getting interesting. Told you it was going to get interesting. It certainly is. Plenty of teams apparently sort of sniffing around this young man there. You know, I think Villa are sniffing around. There were some bids apparently came in through the season of last season for him, you know, and there was potential for him to be moving on at that point. I do think he will probably move from Strasbourg this season by the seams of it, 'cause there's a lot of interest in him, whether it's to Leeds United or not. We do not know. Yaka Biol, you know, all aboard the bullshit bus and into the dictionary corner. This fella plays for Udinese, centre-backs, Slovenian, massive bloke, so he is 6'3", so he is. AC Milan apparently want him as well. There's talks that Udinese want 18 to 19 million pounds, which apparently we're willing to meet. He's apparently, you know, with him being 6'3", you'd hope he's decent in air, hopefully decent from corners, provides us with a bit of stability. Now, I want to mention, because there's some talks. Well, there's talks that Wobber's been told to leave, you know, which leads us into sort of like the other players. I honestly think that we could see quite a lot of movement now. Initially, in the beginning, I thought there'd be some signings coming in, but I didn't think there'd be a great deal of outgoings. I thought Joseph would maybe get moved on. And now I'm starting to think that we're discussing, there's relentless talks about every single position. Now, I know it's the nature of the beast and all aboard the bullshit bus, and this is what we do. It's clickbait central in it. But I know we need plenty of additions, but I thought it'd be more like around a nucleus. But there is talks of even like Pascal Struijk just sort of getting dropped in articles like what seems relatively randomly. So they're talking about Wobber, then we're on about signing centre-backs. But I thought it'd be like, you know, just to bolster centre-backs. But if Wobber's out at door and Struijk goes out at door, we're going to have to really bring some players in, aren't we? Because we're hoping to get, you know, a lot of people want Rodon and another, not necessarily Pascal Struijk as the centre-back partnership. So I just think it could be interesting. You know, I thought it'd be more like just all aimed around a 10 and the left-back would be all, and the keeper and stuff. But, you know, we're talking about strikers. Understandably, I think we need one. But, you know, I thought it'd be more tailored to what we don't have in the clickbait world at the moment. But it seems to be like centre mid where we're relatively strong. I know we've now lost Rothwell and everybody's main mates. Gilavogi's gone out at door and stuff, which I never thought would be a good idea to keep him on board. But, you know, going to get interesting. I think we could see some going out, you know, particularly like Pascal Struijk. He's 100% PSR. He's world class for that stuff. So if they are willing to throw some money around, which I do believe they will, I think it's going to get really interesting in these coming days, boys. This week could be the week where we really start to see some movement, really start to get our eye on the prize. But let's go. It's exciting, yo. Bring on Tuesday. Let's see what happens. Take it easy, everybody. Keep subscribing. Like the video. Comment. Appreciate every which one of you. Peace. Yes.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.